Hi everyone, can everyone see my screen?
Yes, Sobs, we can. You can just continue.
Oh, okay. My name is Sonwabo Booi. I'm a stone fruit rootstock breeder for the ARC. I would like to thank Tybos for the introduction, brief introduction. I think one thing that he forgot to mention in his presentation is that all those fruits, they grow on a rootstock. Okay, just a bit of, just to clarify something, we've got stone fruit as well as palm fruit. So what is the difference? If you talk about stone fruit, you talk about your peaches, your nectarines, your plums, and your cherries. Whereas if you talk about the palm fruit, it's apples and pears. So I just want to clarify that for some people, they don't understand if you say palm fruit. What is the difference? The stone fruit, as you all know, it's got that hard shell inside, whereas with the palm fruit, it's got that one with there's only one seed in the stone fruit, but with the palm fruit, you've got quite a number of seeds inside the fruit. So which regions in South Africa these deciduous fruits are grown? Mostly they are saturated in the Western Cape, in some parts of South Africa as well, but not in high volumes. So how did these fruits come about in South Africa? Now, if we were to go back in history, remember the ships coming from Europe, coming from Europe to get spices in India. So they stopped there in the Cape of Good Hope, and then that's where they established the deciduous fruits there. That is why we've got these fruits now in South Africa, because of those journeys long time ago. So this is a farm where we are situated. It's called Bindon Research Farm. It's one of the ARC research farms. This is where everything is taking place. These are our research facilities. This is our office block, and these are the orchards where we do the evaluation of these fruits. If you go to your right-hand side, you go to Paarl. If you go to your left-hand side, you go to Franschhoek. Stellenbosch is just behind that mountain over there. So we are just behind Groot Drakenstein. It used to be called Victor Verster Prison. That's where former president walked out of the prison. So we're just behind the prison. That's the mountain I'm referring to there at the back. So if you visit us, you'll be able to come and see the prison where Mandela walked out. So what is the difference between a rootstock and the sign varieties? So if I refer to a sign variety, I'm talking about a variety. So I just need to clarify that. So it's just two plants joined together there. So the sign variety is the actual fruit that you are going to get. And then they are joined together there. We call that a joint union or a bud union. But I'll explain everything in my next set of slides. So what is currently available for the stone fruit industry in terms of the rootstocks? If in your left column, there's all the rootstocks, not everything, but some of the rootstocks that are currently used by the industry. But the unfortunate part about those rootstocks, they are not from South Africa. They are rootstocks which were bred overseas. So meaning that they were bred specifically for their conditions, not for our conditions. You must remember South African conditions are unique. We've got unique soils and unique climate. So they were bred for those conditions. So what is our breeding objectives as in the stone fruit rootstock breeding program? Basically is to breed for low chill stone fruit rootstocks. You must remember that we are situated in the southern hemisphere. So the conditions in our position is different from the ones on top, that is in the northern hemisphere. So that's why we breed for low chill stone fruit rootstocks. If you talk about rootstock, talk about peaches, your plums, apricot, interspecies for tolerance or resistance to stress conditions associated with those conditions. Waterlogged conditions, drought, high pH soils, lime-induced iron chlorosis, as well as nematodes, where we focus on ring and root knot. So all that, what we do, we make crosses as Typos has explained, and then we do some screening to see if what we've crossed is there. We do that under glasshouse conditions. Once we get selections which are resistant, let's say for nematode resistance, we take that a little bit further to assess that for rooting ability, because now it's very important for nurserymen to have a rootstock that can root. So when we look at more than 70% rooting ability, then we take it a little bit further to check for grafting compatibility. Your rootstock that you just developed, is it compatible with peach, cyan variety, or plum, or apricot, or any other interspecies? And then we take it a little bit further to the field now. That's where the real evaluation is taking place. Your rootstock that we have developed, can you get a lot of fruit on it? So those are the kind of evaluations that we do on the rootstock project. So why do we breed for stone fruit rootstocks? Waterlogged, you find some orchards, you see some orchards with a lot of water, which is not good for a rootstock, especially with the peaches. They're very sensitive to waterlog. We also breed for nematodes, which is currently the major problem in the industry, where these nematodes, these legal pests, they kind of enter some of the nematodes. They enter the roots and cause some galls in the plant. The ring nematodes in that picture that you see, they just only insert that stylet there. What they do, they just suck the nutrients of the plant, and then the plants won't be able to perform optimally, and it will suddenly die, or you'll see in the decline of your production. We all know about drought, so we need a rootstock that's going to withstand such conditions. And another trait that we look for is for sign incompatibility. So meaning what it actually means that when you bud your sign variety, it needs to be compatible with your rootstock. So it's not, that's what you get problems like that, that is sign incompatibility. There's another problem, iron chlorosis. So those are the things that we breed these rootstocks for. So if you were to focus on the nematodes, if you look at that nematode crop response, say if you've got your plant and you've got your nematodes in the soil, if there are a lot of nematodes in the soil, it will affect the performance of your plant. Then it won't grow optimally if it's a susceptible host. But if it's a non-host plant, it will grow optimally. But if it's a resistant one, it will grow as well. But if it's tolerant, even though there are a lot of nematodes in the soil, but it will still perform, but not as compared to the non-host or resistant one. Then if it's an intolerant one, you see what happens there. The plant will just stay that size. It won't grow because the nematodes are giving that plant a problem. So with the waterlog trial, what we do, we put all these rootstocks in the water for a period of 6 months. And then afterwards, we see what happens. You can see some of the rootstocks are starting to die, especially with the peaches, but with the plums, you can see they are surviving under those conditions. So we also do a trial on soil salinity. So what we do here, we use hydroponic systems. We give these plants some water with high salt. As you can see in that trial, specific trial there, some of them are dying, some of them are surviving. So we work with the ones that are surviving, meaning that they are surviving those extreme conditions. So how do they do the propagation or budding of the sign variety to the rootstock? So if you've got a rootstock here, so let's say your sign variety has got these good qualities. So what they do, they just cut a bud from that tree, they insert it in a rootstock, as is shown here in the picture. They put a budding tape, and then what is going to happen, this plant is going to grow as one. And they will just cut this rootstock here to give this shoot. As you can see, there's a little knob there in that tree. That's how you will get the trees if you ordered it from a nursery. I'll show you in my next set of slides how it's done. This is just basically a trial that we established here at our farm. We are trying to evaluate our own rootstock against a standard commercial rootstocks, which is Mariana in this case. This is a pioneer plum put in all these rootstocks. So here we are trying to test the production potential of the rootstocks against a commercial rootstock. As you can see, after 4 harvest seasons, some of our own rootstock selections were performing better than the standard rootstock, which is a good sign. What this actually means that the farmer or the producer has got a choice now to use our own locally bred rootstock selections or choose the ones which were bred somewhere in the world. So now the farmers have got a choice. So they also did a trial up in Stellenbosch. One of our own researchers did a trial up to see if our own rootstocks was better than the commercial rootstocks. The ones with the big badge there is the commercial rootstocks. This trial, what they did here was to test for ring nematode resistance or tolerance. So the rootstock or the standard rootstock control there was Guardian, which is known to be highly tolerant to ring nematode. But if you look at this trial, Guardian is not even tolerant to this ring nematodes as they claim to be. But some of our own rootstock selections are performing better than the standard commercial rootstocks. So we've got a potential there of our own rootstocks competing with the commercial rootstocks. So here, what happens if you're a farmer or a producer, you want you want a specific variety, you get trees like that. So these trees are ready to be planted out in the field. Now they've done everything. They put a rootstock and also the sign variety. Or as a farmer, what you will need to do there is just to take those ones and plant it in your field. As I spoke about the craft union or where the sign variety is joined with the sign variety is joined with a rootstock. All these trees have got that little band there, meaning that it's a rootstock together with a sign variety on top. Then you plant that, you'll be able to get your fruit in that shape. So in closing, these are the industries which are supporting our rootstocks, our research, and also some funds from the parliamentary grant as well.